Bills fans, what is up? Another roller coaster finish. Another roller coaster finish. I feel like being Ramius over there. I am just completely emotionally spent. Man, but it makes football great, doesn't it? It makes football great. Oh, the food's going to taste better this week. The sleep's going to be better. Trevor, what's up? I just said the same thing. Can we ever have a relaxing Sunday? No, we cannot. It seemed like it was going to be relaxing, but even 14-0 going into half, you felt like, what's up, Rick? You just felt like there was more on the plate there. There was a field goal on the TY, the Yeldon fumble. There was another touchdown on the Sweeney drop in the end zone where Allen threw one of his crazy throws that he does. What's up, bro? But there was more meat on that bone there. There was more meat. They should have been going in the halftime up 21-0, 24-0, but it was what it was, and they let them creep back in the game after a dreadful third quarter. Nothing worked. Maybe they get a first down here and there, and it was 3-and-out after that. And then when push came to shove, they gave up the lead, and it just seemed like grim, dire. They get one more possession, and Josh Allen takes the team right down the field. First was, I think, was a big run to Gore, then another short pass to Beasley, and then the second play was that big one to Knox where he went full on Jeremy Shockey. Go look up a highlight from Jeremy Shockey's rookie year. He straight did that to a dude, stiff arm, and then lowered his shoulder and ran him over like Jerome Bettis. Wow. And it was what it was. And then they got back down in there after an Allen scramble. Gore punched it in. Cincinnati, got to give them mad respect, a lot of credit. They came back, they fought, scratched their way, clawed back in the game, just like the Bengals they are. And then, just couldn't seal it. Went downfield. Bills looked like they were just trying to play it to hold them out of the end zone because they needed a touchdown. And sure enough, Trey White comes up with his second interception of the game, which really sucks because the 3 turnovers the Bills had, they really didn't do anything with them. And it was huge. He gave himself up on that play, and that's kind of a rule. They don't want guys, coming diving on people and stuff like that. Like after the play is over, that's why they have that give up rule in place, because you would see guys just coming into trying to force a crazy stuff like that. They didn't want those crackback blocks on those returns either. Blindside. I remember Eric Wood got his ACL torn on one of those in Dallas. But yeah, a huge win. And it was crazy. Allen was really sharp in the first half, and he just seemed so uneven in the second half, unsteady. And then all of a sudden, when they needed a drive, he made the throws that he needed to make, and then they got it in. I mean, the one scramble that he had on that run for the first down, man, that's insane. That was insane. That's what makes this kid what he is, and you can't coach that special quality out of him, because those are the things that he does that most quarterbacks can't do, is he can give you that. And he was pretty accurate again today. 63 some percent. I mean, the balls were on the money. There was a few drops in there. I alluded to one with Sweeney in the end zone. He needed to catch that ball, and he was pissed. He was pissed, and he threw the pick, and he did what he did. He needed to dirt that ball or take the sack, and he threw the pick. They would have pinned Cincinnati back, but that gave them new life. And these are correctable mistakes. He can fix these things. You can't fix accuracy. You can't fix the ability to make plays. And how many times have we seen quarterbacks late in games? Bills have had chances to win games like this. They just didn't have the ability to make plays. And yeah, the offensive line, Trevor, did not have a good day today. They did not, especially in the first half, I felt. But in the second half, they kind of calmed down. Losing Feliciano hurt. I think it hurt the run game, definitely. And they got a little cute. They got a little too cute on 3rd and short. I feel like those short situations, they got a little too cute. There was a couple of plays I felt like they should have just lowered their head with Gore or Allen and got that gritty third and short. But when they needed to do it down to the goal line, they did it with Gore. and that was the game-winning touchdown. And he's a load, man. The guy's a Pro Bowl talent. He's a player for a reason, and this is the NFL. You just don't go in. I was nervous about this game. You know that they're against it. They were 0-2 at the time, and they're going to come in there loose. They got really, nobody expects them to win, and the Bills had, everybody picking them, and it's a rare situation for the Bills to be a favorite, and they went out there and they finally won, and it was nice to see. I said the same thing. Bills Mafia, man, 55. He looked like a Jeremy Shockey. That was straight out of a Jeremy Shockey highlight reel from his rookie year. It was insane, and you could just tell in the second half, not having Devin Singletary really hurt them because he was that change of pace in the second half of the last couple of games. He gave the Bills that little extra wiggle, that extra little gear on offense, make a guy miss in space, turn 3-2 into like 6, 7, 8, maybe more, and especially in the receiving game too. Yeldon really, he hurt him with that fumble. They were able to recover. Josh was able to recover from his interception and win the game, and that's all you can ask for. That's all you can ask for. I was a little irritated they didn't try another play at the end of the first half to try to get closer for a field goal. I felt like if they would have done that, something towards the sidelines or maybe an Allen run out of bounds, they could have got into a better position. But it was what it was, and it was ugly. And this team is young still, and being able to accrue these type of wins, hard fought, nothing's cupcakey. They're not coasting. They're having to fight their way into or back into games, and that's an encouraging thing because it's easy to just hang your head after a game like this. It's easy to just say, "Oh, boo hoo, us, screw it," and they didn't. They said, "You know what? Here we go. We need this drive," and they, Allen's blueprints were all over that drive. Unbelievable. It was really, really good. Timothy Sherry, yep. It was a good win for that guy. It was his day there at New Era Field, and he, Bills won one for themselves, for him, for all of us. He's definitely has some clutch to him, and you need that as a quarterback. You can go out there and win games, leading by this, and those games are going to come for Allen. Don't worry, those games are going to come. There's going to be a game where the Bills go blow somebody out. There's going to be a game. It's these types of games that make quarterbacks who they are. You make your mantelpiece on close games, close wins, just like Daniel Jones did today. It took a field goal kicker to miss it, but he brought his team down and won today. And that's what makes the resume of a quarterback. Did you win? Did you lose? Did you play big when it mattered? And he's played big when it mattered. This is what, fourth quarter? This is 5 comebacks when the team's trailing in the fourth quarter. This is 5. This is his 14th start. And that's huge. And it'll be their first big test too, Trevor. I know the Patriots are a 10,000-pound gorilla, and this is the first team they're going to face that has a pulse in that stadium. So we'll see. But the motion, they were trying to create mismatches in space against some of their linebackers and safeties. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. I mean, the Knox reverse worked. The first McKenzie jet sweep worked. So there was just times where I felt like they needed to just put their heads down, get DeMarco back there in front of Gore, and just go ahead, plow ahead, get that first down. And they need to learn from that. Edelman left the Patriots game, had like some rib chest issue. His x-rays are negative, but he's going to be going to the game. But the Bills didn't come out unscathed, of course. Feliciano left. He was in the locker room with a neck brace. Hopefully that's just precautionary. Maybe he got, he stiffened up during the game. Maybe he caught a stinger. He was in the stadium. He was in the locker room after the game. So if it was something serious, something that, they would have maybe taken him to the hospital for an MRI right away. I'm sure you got x-rayed. Hopefully it's just some muscle spasms. it was hot out there today. From what I heard, it was pretty hot on that field. Um, Also, I know Harrison Phillips left late. I saw him when he slipped. He called the trainers right over. I think maybe something caught in the back of his leg. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. Maybe it's a hamstring. Maybe it's there's a lot of there's a lot of Bills fans who are like that, man. There's a lot of Bills media. There was a lot of Bills fans during the game that we're waiting for. Oh, here comes the loss. Here comes the loss, because that's just what Bills fans do. It's the same old Bills, and they today they were not the same old Bills. They said no, we're gonna go and win this game, and they won it. Wasn't pretty, but it felt like it might go that way when they only had 14 points. And it turns out the play of the game, yeah, Gore looks like he just has another year. He still looks like he has another year left in him. He's a tough physical runner. He gets the yards that he needs to get, and then he still has a good burst when he gets to that second level. He made a beautiful run, that 20-yard run. Yeah, hopefully, everybody else came out good. But yeah, he's a good piece. He's a missing piece, and they need him back. Singletary definitely does add a different dimension to this offense. But you're going to see a lot of young pieces get incorporated. I think once Knox gets his confidence back, you'll see him get incorporated. Sweeney plays a lot in this offense, guys. I don't know if you realize that. He plays a lot, so they must trust him. He's a hell of a blocker. That's one thing he is. But he needed to catch that touchdown in the end zone. That would have broken Cincinnati's back. That one sticks in my craw. And it turns out, what is the play of the game? It's crazy when you go back through the archives of the game and you think about the play of the game. Cincinnati gets a penalty on the Bills' first touchdown. McDermott doesn't want to kick up an extra point into the wind. He doesn't. So he's like, you know what? Let's go for two here. It's early. Let's try it. Allen hits Beasley. That's the game winner. Otherwise, you know what's happening? They're playing for a field goal, and they got in position to kick a field goal against the wind, but Bullock hit one earlier that was a pretty okay distance. So turns out the play of the game we saw in the first quarter was huge. 2 points to Cole Beasley. I thought about that. The second the game was over, boy, was that 2-point conversion huge. So you guys, I've talked so much. I know you guys are excited as hell. Another emotional roller coaster of a win. Wow, it was. You get caught up in the emotions of the game, but the second the game was over, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, oh my God, the 2-point conversion! Thank God for the 2-point conversion. Yeah, dude, Trevor, he's gonna get one of those, man. Those are gonna come. Don't worry about that. Those games and are gonna come. Everybody gets caught up in. Cincinnati played well today, man. They came out, they, even when the Bills were battling early and got the early lead, Cincinnati was still trying. They weren't a scrub team. They have talent. They have playmakers. They have guys you have to respect. Like when they were letting Cincinnati go down the field, Cincinnati didn't have many big plays, but they respected Ross's speed a lot. They were playing too high safety a lot, and they were depending on the guys in the second level, the corners, the big nickel guys, the slot corners to try to eat up some of that space. It was hard. I mean, you saw Mixon get involved there early, core a little bit in the third, but eventually the Bills, were able to make a play and seal the game. Yeah, hopefully, you know what I was a little shocked by, guys. I was shocked that the Bills pass rush didn't have more an impact in the game, because when they blitzed, they made Dalton get rid of the ball, but when they just rushed for and played coverage, they didn't get home on Dalton, and that disappointed me because I think they were just too busy. I think because of the injuries on the Cincinnati offensive line, the Bills are more reliant on our guys are just going to win their one-on-ones. And Cincinnati rose to the occasion and played pretty well in front of Dalton. And it was like, come on, man, you need a sack, something. There was some tip passes. They got their a handful of tip passes today. Yeah, Micah Hyde is amazing. That one play, That was Poyer. Poyer's the one who stripped the ball out, Eric. And then what Hyde did though on the one sack that I think one of the one sacks that Bills had, Kevin Johnson, he motioned him to the other side of the formation because that's where they were soft. There was no help over there. He switched KJ and then he blitzed in off the edge and he ended up when Dalton slipped up into the pocket. There Johnson was waiting for him. Big win. What's up, Los? How you doing, bro? It feels good, man. The week's gonna go by nice and easy. The food's gonna be better. The sleep's gonna be better. Everything's gonna be better. It feels good, man. And they needed this win. They needed to go into this game this coming weekend 3-0. They couldn't have lost this game, especially in that fashion, and then have New England coming in. It would have been really, really crappy, really shitty, beyond shitty. And I was just dreading it. I was still going to come on here no matter what. Of course, win or lose, I always will do. And I was just so happy they were able to bite down hard and just and fight for this win because they let it slip through their fingers and they went back and got it back. And that's what all you want to see, man. That's all you want to see. Yeah, I'll take the win, man. And my blood pressure, I don't know where. It's a miracle. I don't have white hair all up. It's a miracle. I don't know what the hell. It's unbelievable how they get you into these games and whichever way they go, it's like, can we just have a nice, clean, easy Sunday? And that was another point too. We haven't seen this team yet, and the defense isn't. I mean, there's some young parts on the defense, but we haven't seen this team play 4 quarters yet. We need to see this team play 4 quarters, not a half, not a half and then a drive. We need to see this team play 4 quarters. And if I'm McDermott, that's what I'm preaching right now. I'm like, look, we got the win. Enjoy the win. It's tough. It is a tough league to win in. Any team that's 0-3 right now, 1-2, even if it's hard. Nobody's giving you W's. Cincinnati didn't try to come give the Bills a W. They tried to come take one for themselves. And the Bills said, no, we're going to keep that shit. So you have to fight for these victories. And the tougher this team gets, especially offensively, the more confidence they get, the better they're going to be in the easy parts of the game. Because there's times you see Josh, it slows down for him. It's when he speeds himself up. I think that's where things get a little hectic. There's just times he needs to see a play and be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to live for another down. The third quarter, they've got to rectify that. They've got to clean that up. And what I think happened today was Cincinnati won the toss. They gave the Bills the ball. The Bills got the win. They chose to have the win in the second quarter and in the fourth quarter. And I just think that McDermott needs to be able to plan for those situations better. He needs to know, like, look, we need to come out here and we need to be ready to roll. Open the game to start the second half. That's just as important. That's just you're just opening the game. And you have all that time to script, plan, prep. You're in the locker room. You need to come out with a little bit more urgency, a little bit more focus. And I think that that's something that they're really, really going to work on in the coming weeks. They have to. Yeah, Los, I said the same thing. Los says, I felt Singletary would have made a big difference today with a spark in the second. Yep, I said the same thing, bro. Yep. GMA, bro. Seriously. GMA, I said the same thing because he's been that spark plug in the second half of the last 2 games. He's been that guy that's been able to break something, make a guy miss in a phone booth, and just, especially in the pass game, take a 2-yarder and turn it into a 20-yarder. They getting him back, but I understand keeping him on the sideline with a hamstring because he's so twitchy and he's so, sudden that if you go to plant your foot and cut again and that hamstring goes, you're looking at Andre Reed getting carted off in 95 with a torn hamstring. You don't want that situation. Yeah, Shady. Yeah, he did that a couple of times. He got away with it. The one time he did, he threw it across his body, and the Phillips was right in front of a falling Beasley, and that's it's just the Brett Favre, Elway, want to make a play all the time mentality that he has. And it's going to get him burned sometimes, and it's going to get him wins sometimes. And so far, early on, it hasn't burned him yet, but it's made him a lot of plays. And I kept saying Sweeney should have caught one. Definitely should have caught one of those plays where he just, boom, the one flat-footed throw he had to Jones when he got the roughing the passer call because he got hit at the knees. So he can make some plays that are just unbelievable. But he did try to throw the ball in the stands at one time, and then the ref said it didn't get out back to. I felt like it got back to the line of scrimmage. I see a million plays like that all the time. It's just on that one play the ref said it didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. It was intentional grounding. It knocked him out of field goal range. It was just tough. It was yeah, Knox dropped the ball. I don't know if that was a play before Los or the play. I think it was a play before Sweeney dropped his, and he had it. The DB was around, waved. Sweeney had the ball, and it just went right. It slithered right through his hands. I think the game right then and there would have been a 21-0 game, and that to me would have been enough. And the Yeldon fumble hurt, and yeah, he missed Zay today. And those deep shots are. I said it last week. They're going to be there. They're going to be there. We know he can hit those shots. We know he can make those throws. We know he has the capability of making those throws. And today, you saw them dig down. Allen ran a little bit more today. He's like, you know what, guys, I can still run. And there was a couple of times where he ran. It was good. The one time he ran, it almost burned him at the end of the first half where it was like a fumble. But I didn't think it was going to stand because when the Bengal that came in vigil, he slid right out of bounds with the ball. He never had possession of the ball. New England should scare you, bro. It should scare you. But I think the Bills are going to give them a challenge. I think the Bills are the first team that are, going to have a pulse that plays them. Pittsburgh had nothing. Pittsburgh was just flat. They looked lethargic. It was the first game of the year. They didn't look like they have any life. And then when they played the Dolphins, come on, they played a Jets team down to their third string quarterback. It just, I think the Bills are going to give them a very good game. I'll just put it to you that way. I think they're going to something to think about. Let's see. Win, lose, or draw. Do we hope win? Fuck yeah, we hope win. Because that's why today was so important. And then they stuck together and won. They stuck together and won. And you can't simulate pressure. You can't simulate pressure in practice. You can't simulate high pressure moments in game situations. And let's be real, Allen seems to thrive in those situations. Allen seems to really thrive in those situations. He seems to like them. He seems to want them. He seems to look to, want to just make those big plays in those situations. And those quarterbacks that do that, those are the ones that generally win 9 times out of 10. Instead of taking checkdowns and dinking and dunking, they want to make a play down the field. They want to scare the shit out of the defense, and defenses are going to take note of that. This kid will try to fucking throw it over our heads or through us. He's going to do that, and that's going to open up other things. This is their third game together as an offense. Most of the offensive line, there was 25 out of all the new players they had. I think 22 or 23 were offensive players, offensive linemen, skill positions, running backs, everything. It's all new. We're watching a lot of newness with this team, but it's good to see. It's really good to see a 3-0 win. Yeah, he does. He's a gamer, bro. Shady who? He's definitely a gamer. I don't want to give him the clutch gene just yet, but I will say that 5 fourth quarter comebacks in 14 starts is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, they're gonna need to score touchdowns. Eric, and they're going to need to clean up mistakes. They're going to need to clean up their mistakes, score touchdowns, not turn the ball over, and force New England to make mistakes and in the field goals. Gostkowski's looked a little shaky. He's missing some PATs. He's not automatic as he once was on field goals. So it's I think the Bills are going to give them a test, and we'll see what the weather's like this week. Because you saw the winds today was pretty rough out there. Yeah, he's Chris, am I the only one who holds my breath that when Ty? There was a couple of times he ran today. I saw the ball and I was like, oh shit. And on the fumble, it was just a lazy fumble. He had the ball. He was on his way down, and then Hubbard just came in and punched it right out, similar to Poyer with Ross. He just came in and punched it out. Ross got lazy, and it was an interception. Bowman, I was a bit worried. Gore's injury was considered. I was a bit worried with Gore's injury considering our. Gore's fine. He's good, bro. Yeah, they're gonna need points, man. They're gonna need points. You're not gonna beat. It depends. We'll see what they do. We'll see how the game goes. They need to go out there and play a four-quarter game. That's what they need to do. They need to go out there and play 4 quarters. I said this before. We've yet to see this team play 4 complete quarters. We see them play a half and a drive, and that's about it. We need to see them play 4 quarters of football. Yeah, all the rookies are playing. Darryl Johnson, he's playing out there. It just kept coming off. I don't know. He had some issue with his shoe. It just kept coming off. I think his spikes might have been too long, and they were getting caught in the turf, and it was taking his shoe off because he's a big, thick dude, and when he plants his foot and cuts, man, something's going to give. And apparently it was his shoe today. But I wanted to come on a little earlier than usual because I usually come on during halftime, second half of the Sunday night game, but I wanted to come on a little earlier because I know people want to. It was his shoe. It was his shoe just kept coming off. That's all. No, the announcers they didn't know it was an injury, but it was his shoe. It's just because he wears his socks like that. He wears his socks kind of funny. I don't know if you notice, he cuts his socks, and they almost look like sock sleeves. They're not like socks. I don't know why he does that, but apparently that's what he does because he's comfortable with. And that's just it's a weird setup, but it works for him. He's been in the league forever, so I ain't gonna question anything he does. He's like the 4th all-time leading rusher, some crazy shit like that. I don't know what he is. He's pretty high up there. Yeah. Today, Eric, that bothered me. I think they thought they were going to win their one-on-ones a little too easy, and they didn't, and that was not good. I was hoping that would be a little bit better, but I will say Dalton was getting the ball out quick, especially in the second half. But the Bills, they made their tips when they had to. I think they had a couple of sacks. I don't think they had many, but they had enough, just enough to seal the game. Yeah, I didn't know that he used soccer cleats. I didn't know that he used soccer cleats. I'm surprised the NFL lets him do that, but if that's what works for him, that's what works for him, man. Because they kept coming off like crazy today. I'd never seen that problem before with any other running back of all the years of watching football, but for today, for some reason, it was happening to him. I just think he probably had his spikes a little too long for the turf today. So it was a pretty interesting situation, but it was what it was. So we'll see where it goes. It's going to be a long week. A lot of people are going to start talking right away. All attention goes to next week. This was a good win. I think it needs to be recognized and talked about too, because they showed, some stupid stuff, not being able to do anything in that third quarter and the first part of the fourth quarter, but it's crazy. It was like Jekyll and Hyde. All of a sudden they went down the field and scored like it was nothing, and I was just so irritating. I'm like, this is what you're capable of. Go do it. You can do this anytime you want. You have the athletes, you have the talent, you have the quarterback. Granted, they're down a running back that's pretty explosive, and it was just, it was frustrating. But once they got it rolling and they're showing the highlight reel here, game-winning touchdown, it was like, there it is. There it is. I know what they wanted to do. They wanted to try to like force them to pursue and then cut one back, but they just never had that angle. They never got the cutback angle that they wanted on those reverses. They were trying to flow them this way and then bend it back inside, but they played them well. They played them pretty well as well as they could. The Bills caught them on a couple. They caught them on a couple of Josh Allen runs too, that they were not expecting. That's for sure. They used his mobility on that game-winning drive. On that game-winning drive, they used him a lot. You guys are all about Pat's week. This is Pat's week. You guys are all in, and I get it, man. I get it. They need to put this team on their heels. They need to do something. I'm just already thinking about this game, and I'm enjoying this one. They need to really go out there and try to, put it on them this week as best as you can. No, it isn't, Trevor. It's not near. It's still the offense is it's young. It's a young offense with a young quarterback. Again, 14 starts, one start doesn't make a quarterback. Daniel Jones had a great start today. Guess what? Nobody's going to remember that start next week. If a field goal kicker makes a field goal, it's like they won. He played great. They lost. He turned the ball over a little bit, fumbled, strip sacked a couple of times. It happens. There's quarterbacks who go out there and make good plays, and then there's quarterbacks that are veterans. They make dumb plays. Matt Ryan made a few dumb interceptions today. Dumb. It was just bad interceptions, but he tried to recover, but they just couldn't. Yeah, 3 games, Snarl. Just three games. Grimy, ugly wins, but they're wins, and that's just the way they work. You don't get extra style points. Style points are sexy, man. Don't get me wrong. I know they are, and I want them too. Yeah, Trey had a nice pick today. He drove on a ball. The receiver stopped his route. I can't remember which receiver it was. I don't know if it was Ross or Boyd, but they stopped their route cold, and he just flew in for the ball, and then he was just there. There was a pass, I think, a couple of drives before the ends. I think it was where the Cincinnati, they got their field goal. They got their go-ahead field goal. There was a tip pass that fell right in front of the linebackers. It was right there. If it just would have hung up in the air another second, it would have been a pick six. Yeah. Neither did Allen. Eric, I'm glad you brought that up. Eric says, did you see the video of the locker room speech? The team didn't seem too crazy or excited. I think they know they have, of course. And what's up, Neil? How are you? And Allen looked pissed. Allen looked really pissed. He had his hands on his hips. He was pissed. And you like that. They're not, giving themselves blowjobs. You want them to be like, hey, we did ourselves no favors here today. We won the game. It was a tough game. We're glad we won, but we should have not made that as hard on ourselves as we did. And they did. And they cannot do that. They cannot afford to do that ever again. When they have the foot on the throat, they need to go put on the throat. That's why I need to see. There's a killer instinct in this team. It just needs to be refined a little bit. And I talk about that is they're able to go say, hey, we need to put a drive together. We're going to put a drive together and go score. The last drive, the drive against the Giants, the drives against the Jets. They need to have that fucking mentality every time they get the ball on offense. We're going to do this. We're going to score, and this is 3 straight games, not 3 straight games. They've done a requisite job. And what pisses me off is each week, it doesn't piss me off. It encourages me, but it irritates me. It irritates me a little bit. Is week 1, they left points. They were driving the ball, left points, field goals, potential touchdowns. They left points all over the board, all over the field. Week 2, they win 28-14. They left points on the field, no doubt about it. This week, they're leaving points on the field, 10, 14 points. There's more in this team, and I know it's there, and we're gonna see it come hell or high water. I think we're gonna see it come, and it's that's when it's really gonna get fun. That's when it's really gonna get fun. But 3-0, guys, I can't complain. I mean 3-0, I can't complain. That's the start that that's half the wins this team had last year. Half the wins this team had last year. You're already at half your yield from last year with 13 games to go. And that feels really, really good. And those wins came with Allen at the second half against, Miami last game, the Detroit, the Jaguars. Now, we need to see this team string them together. Just string them together. I don't think Timothy, you cannot. No, I don't think they deliberately slow down. There's no way you can't do that in this league, man. You can't take anything for granted. You can't. The Bills have nothing to rest their laurels on. That eating the clock. No, you can't eat the clock. You got to go down there and put points on the board. You know what stresses a team more than anything? Points. When you know your offense can score points, it stresses another team's offense and defense. Why do you think New England plays so free and easy on defense? They don't got the most talented players on defense. They have very good players, but they don't have wow. Gilmore hasn't changed since he left Buffalo. He hasn't changed. You know what he has? He has a quarterback on the other side of the field in an offense they feel so confident in that it doesn't matter if they give up a lead or give up a touchdown drive. Hey, that quarterback is so fucking good. He's going to bail us out, and it allows a team to play free and easy. Then the other team on offense is like, oh, shit, we got to go keep up with Tom Brady, and then that forces them into mistakes because they feel pressured by, oh, we got to keep up. We just don't, and they get out of their game. It happens all the time. Well, they're winning pretty good, Snarl. If they're learning how to win, they're winning, and that's good because I can't complain about wins. Yeah, it felt like in the past few weeks, yeah, look what happened to the Bucks. Yep, you can't do that. Hey, Renee, what's up, man? Great start. Let's keep at it. Yep, wins 9 games. I want more than 9 wins, man. I have high aspirations. I want more than 9 wins. I want to be able to think about the playoffs a week before. I don't want to worry about other teams helping the Bills to get in. I want the Bills to do themselves their favors, not depend on other teams. But if they have to, we'll see. Trevor, that's just, he's a young quarterback. He's going to make those throws. He's got to So we'll see. We'll see. He did a better job of it last week. This week he turned the ball over, but you know what? Turnovers are going to happen, and you have to overcome them. And they overcome them, and they overcame them today. They've overcome all of them this year. They've overcome their turnovers. So that's all you can ask for. They could have tucked their tail between their legs, went 3 and out on the last drive, turned the ball over. Allen could have made another mistake, but they didn't. Yeah, I just worry about, week to week, man. Eric, I worry about week to week, with the schedule because it changes. Injuries change things. The way a team is playing changes things. So I'm not gonna bank on wins and losses just yet. I'm gonna take each game as it comes, just like I did today. And until the final score reads Bills numeral is higher than the next team and the clock has 4 zeros, that's when I'll know that what happened. It's early, Neil. It's early, but I'm not complaining about Allen. I'm not complaining about him at all. I could understand Adamek. If I was a Bucks fan, I'd be upset too because Arians killed him. He fucked them up, taking that delay of game, drove their kicker back another 5 yards, and the kicker just sailed it wide right. Unbelievable. Yeah, we'll see, Snarl. Quarterbacks take hits. I think I don't know if he's caught one. I know he was targeted He was targeted deep today. The one Allen almost got intercepted on the end zone by Jackson. That was for Foster. Like, I think he needs to learn how to come off those passes. Like, hey, that deep shit's not open. Something underneath, because it was two guys back there going with Foster. They respected the Bills' speed on offense. On the perimeter. I saw their safeties. They did not want to get beat over the top. You see a lot of that. Why do you think the Bills have had such long touchdown drives? Teams are playing deep as fuck against this team. Like, if you go watch the coaches' film, there's a safety like 20 yards off the ball every time, sometimes two in passing situations. But the cool thing about that is there's big voids in the zones. So Allen's forced to try to take those passes, and he's up almost 64% completion. So that's the mark, right? Everybody said he can be that. If he's improved a lot. It's 13 points higher than he was last year. So I can't complain about his accuracy. The passes that he put on guys, they were there today. I didn't see a lot of inaccurate passes. The one that Brown had reviewed and stopped, which was a big play, the Bills were, I felt, driving again there. He dropped it. It slipped right through his arms. He should have had that pass. Zay had a nice play, the one to pick up the first down, Eric. You're right, 100%. Zay's been playing well. So I give him a lot of credit, and a lot of teams, a lot of people gave him some stink. He almost got deep once. Yeah, Allen just overthrew him. I think once he sees a guy leak out, he gets a little too excited and tries to, put a little too much on it, but he needs to, week 4, here we go. So you guys ready for this game? I'm going to jump off of here now. Thank you guys so much for coming in. All of you, you all know who you are. Sunday Night Football. So I wanted to come on here early so you guys can just sit and enjoy and watch the game, not worry about me coming on, talking all kinds of shit. So thank you guys so much. Love you all. Go Bills. 3-0. 3-0. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. This what makes it special. Days like this. Bills family, Bills nation. Let's go. 3-0.